Welcome to Choco Millionaire. We're living in changing immigration times, and one of the areas that has been affected by the new immigration policies has been the international student program. International students who are hoping to come to Canada or are already in Canada are not only the ones feeling the changes, the sweeping changes made by Canada's immigration. Some institutions are also affected. Let's take a listen to one of this from one of the institutions that have been affected by this program.
Crushed it.
Austin Matthews. Austin Matthews. Yeah. Hit him with the flow like Austin Matthews.
Growing deficits, layoffs, and far fewer enrollments. Ottawa's cap on international students taking its toll on colleges and universities. The federal government first announced a temporary 2-year cap on international students in January to reduce levels by 35% this year. That will go down by another 10% next year, impacting enrollment numbers across the board.
So we've noticed about a 30% decline in international enrollment already for this fall.
And a further drop of 2,500 full-time students expected due to new restrictions on postgraduate work permits, leading the college to project a deficit of $45 million. Over 100 jobs have been impacted, including 23 layoffs. The situation dire at Sheridan College in Oakville, with the post-secondary cutting 40 of its programs. Georgian College hasn't made those same decisions.
But we have looked at some intakes that, based on the drop in enrollment, just weren't viable, and so we've had to make some tough calls there.
While the college has faced some tough decisions, over in Aurelia, Lakehead University has largely been able to stave off some of the same financial pressures. However, the future remains far from clear. International students are down by 15% across all of its campuses. The school balancing its budget to ensure there's been no job or program impacts.
We're really trying to make sure that we remain nimble and responsive, and we're doing all the work we can do internally to make sure that we don't have to make those kinds of decisions.
But attracting students remains a more complex issue. Over 200,000 graduates on work permits in Canada are now at risk of deportation over the next year when their permits expire. A pathway to permanent residency is even more unclear, damaging Canada's reputation abroad, forcing recruiters to change their messaging.
Lakehead is here to welcome them, and that our doors are open to them.
Christian Davino, CTV News.
All right, friends, welcome back to Choco Millionaire. Sorry about that clip. The video was not playing the actual footage. It was just the audio you were hearing. Sorry about the tech issue there. All right, so the reports coming out suggests that a lot of schools in Ontario are suffering from the immigration changes regarding the international student program. As you know, Ontario is the largest recipient of international students enrollment. About 70% of international students coming to study in Canada will find themselves in Ontario. Now, the government has made sweeping changes, reducing the number of international students coming into the country significantly, and the impact of that is being felt by the institutions. If you watch my old videos, you're probably not surprised because I kind of predicted or suggested that these things will likely happen, and programs that will be affected the most will likely be the liberal arts program or the social sciences and business programs, and it appears that that is actually the situation in most parts of Ontario. So schools in Ontario are making drastic changes, suspending programs that they would have admitted international students for. And a school like Sheridan College, for example, has suspended 40 programs. 40 programs. That is no joke at all. 40 programs suspended by Sheridan College. As you can see right there, Sheridan College suspends 40 programs, reducing staff, citing drop in international students. The school is predicting 30% fewer students coming in for the year. That was from the president, all right? So Sheridan College will be suspending 40 programs. And not only that, they will also be laying off several of their staff as it faces dramatic drop in enrollment, okay? This is just Sheridan College. You heard from the video that other schools are also affected. Who are those who are going to be affected the most? Now, if you have been issued an admission and you yet to secure your visa for any of these colleges in Ontario, you probably want to be checking with the school. They may make some changes. They may send you an email. Some of them may send you an email to let you know that they are no longer going to run the program for the upcoming term. Now, those of you who are already admitted, you've gotten your visas, and you probably have even started the programs, you probably will be able to complete them. But for the next semester or intake, there will likely be changes from most of the schools. So please keep an eye for these updates and make sure that you are staying on top of it. The first time I actually came across something like this was a couple of months ago when a school in the Atlantic provinces, I will not mention the school's name, issued emails or sent emails to many of the international students who were admitted for a couple of programs and said that they were not going to be running those programs in the coming semester. Now, these students had applied for their visas and they were in a limbo. Wow. So if the program I am going to study, for which I've applied for the visa, all of a sudden has been withdrawn or suspended, what do I do? Do I reach out to the RCC? What do I do? Do I withdraw my visa application? Or will you be given a new program to apply to? I don't know. You have to speak with the school to figure out what the best option will be for you. But I just want you to know that we are living in changing times and a whole lot of things are happening. Schools are being affected. Students are being affected. The biggest loser will be the international students and also the schools that are here benefiting from the volume of international students coming. So you really, really want to stay updated as things are changing so fast. Now, it is estimated that the international student program brings in about $24 billion a year to the Canadian economy. That is a lot of money. In fact, that is more profit than a lot of automobile industries or car makers here in Canada. $23 billion a year coming from the international student program. That is how much the international students bring into the system. The beneficiaries here are the schools that charge exorbitant money. Exorbitant. There's a bit of history here. So there is a reason why the international students are like a go-to or a hot market for most schools. Canada's laws here, or the federal government or a lot of provinces, froze school fees for locals, permanent residents, citizens. Tuition has been frozen for a long time. So they are not able to increase school fees the way they really want to for locals. If you look at the tuition that is paid by the locals here, is really low, all right, compared to that of international students, especially if you look at it from a volume perspective, right? 3,000, 4,000 for a program. From some schools, some can even be lower. If you live in other provinces, you know the school fees for locals is really low. And that is one of the benefits for being a Canadian or permanent resident, right? You get a benefit from low tuition and stuff like that. But schools, in their bid to actually keep up with the rising cost of everything, decided to run to the international student program, that market, and then tap into that to bring in a lot of international students, because that area is an area that there is not a tuition freeze for many schools or provinces. So therefore, they are able to, play around with the numbers there and then get in as many international students as possible. That is how come all of a sudden you have so many international students coming in. And a lot of these schools were doing all kinds of campaigns to attract international students from all over the world. So it got to a point where the volume of international students was just way up there. And these people were making money. These schools were making money. Some of them were recording profits of in excess of $100 million a year. Presidents were getting big payouts here and there and benefits and stuff like that. International students were bringing in a lot of money. Now, living in times where you're seeing all these changes happening, you'll be wondering, are international students the only losers? No, they are not. Even though international students today are not getting the visas the way they used to, they are not coming in the way they would do. It simply means that there will be a ripple effect on the economy as well. Now, these schools will have to figure out a way to come up with the monies that they need to sustain themselves. So the immediate action some of them will take is that they have to suspend those programs, right? Just imagine one school alone suspending 40 programs. That is huge. 40. Look at this, right? Just one school suspending what? 40 programs. Look at it. One school alone. So imagine the other colleges that are there. Imagine even the private colleges too. The private colleges have also been hit in many ways. Private public partnership programs have seen some changes. So private colleges are not really able to tap into that partnership they have with some public schools, where they are able to get some programs run and then students graduating to make sure that they have a pathway. So everybody is feeling the heat here. The economy here will also feel the heat. Professors are going to lose their jobs. A lot of them are going to lose their jobs. A lot of professors will lose their jobs. A lot of staff will lose their job. And when these people lose their jobs, unemployment is created, the economy ends up suffering, isn't it? Yeah. Now, these international students who are also not coming in could mean so many things in different ways to the Canadian economy as well. Remember, this is a sector that brings in about $23 billion a year to the Canadian economy. All right. So that is a way to look at it. All I want to just suggest here is that you really, really want to stay up to date and contact your school or be in touch. If your school hasn't sent you an email, that is fine, but just make sure you are checking your mails regularly, okay? If you have been using an agent or you're using an agent, a ghost agent, I like to call them, make sure you're checking with them, because some of them may not be communicating all the correspondence they are receiving from the schools to you. In other words, your school may have sent them a message that your program was probably seeing some changes. Your program is not going to be coming off in the upcoming semester, or maybe they'll recommend some options to you. But then if your agent is not communicating this to you, you will likely be sitting down thinking that you are coming to Canada, only to find out that at the port of entry, you'll probably run into problems there. All right. So let me just go ahead and read some other aspects of this article for you. Okay. These changes. So according to the school, okay, I believe this is the president. He said these changes are required for Sheridan to remain a financially sustainable and a vibrant community in response to chronic underfunding, changing government policies, and social, technological, and economic disruption. Morrison said, Sheridan will look different, but our commitment to learning, discovery, and engagement remains the same. The programs being suspended include 13 in the Faculty of Applied Sciences and Technology, 13 business programs, 6 in the Faculty of Animation, Arts and Design, 5 in the Faculty of Applied Health and Community Studies, and 3 in Humanities and Social Sciences. Students who are currently enrolled in these programs will still be able to graduate, the college's website states. All right. So if you've already registered or you've enrolled, meaning that you've actually gotten your visa and then you're probably in the country, you'll still be able to graduate. But Sheridan College is stating that those of you who are yet to come in, these suspensions will affect the above programs. 13 in Faculty of Applied Sciences, 13 in Business Program, 6 in Faculty of Animation and then Arts and Design. All right. Sheridan College is the latest school to face financial challenges after the federal government announced a cap on study permits for international post-secondary students. The government has said the cap is meant to reduce the number of student visas by more than a third this year. Ottawa, it's said it will approve approximately 360,000 undergraduate study permits for 2024, a 35% reduction from 2023. All right. So that is out there. That is the news out there. Please just go out and read. I'll make sure I link. Okay, I link this in the description box for you. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that is Ontario will feel the heat a lot. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'll be reading some of your comments, so keep them coming. I will be reading them out as well. Okay. Have you been affected by this sweeping changes in some way? If yes, let me know how you've been affected. Definitely a lot of changes for a lot of people to process. Nobody knows what's going to happen next. And you know, I have said already, normally the government that is in power right now in Canada, which is a Liberal government, will not be the government that you will be predicting will be making all these changes while they're in power, because they are the same government that actually open up the immigration to allow more and more people to come in, both on visitor visas, student visas, and different programs, permanent residents, foreign work permits, and stuff like that. But again, they are having to make these changes because of the many things happening in Canada right now. The approval rate or the popularity of the government has sunk so much. It's so low that today, if elections were conducted, they will lose in a big, like, by the way, Ghana's election is tomorrow. My country, my home country, Ghana, is having, will be having the election tomorrow. And yeah, I wish everybody in Ghana the very best, peace as well as you go to the polls. All right, so that is it from the immigration there. The government here has become so unpopular that if they were to conduct an election today, they will lose by a huge margin. Just look at this, guys. Let me show you this, okay? If elections were conducted today, based on the polls, look at where they stand. I just want you to look at the numbers here. Now, the party you see, new polling analysis predicts Pierre, which is the opposition party candidate, Pierre Poilievre, will win by 76%. He will win 76% of the seats. Look at it. Look at the numbers there. Poilievre, the blue party, the conservatives, will command 260 seats, right? And then you see the next seat that goes to Bloc Québécois, they will get 42. And then NDP, Jagmeet Singh's NDP will get 21. And then Trudeau, the party in government, the ruling party as we speak right now, how many seats do they have? 17. This is a disaster waiting to come. It's just a matter of time, people. That is how unpopular the government is. Look at it. The ruling, just imagine if this was your country. Just imagine if this was Ghana, and I tell you that Nana Akufo-Addo will get 17 seats, whilst the opposition NDC gets 260 seats. How bad is that? Just imagine if this is Nigeria, and I tell you that Tinubu is getting 17 seats, whilst the opposition is getting 200, and one party alone is getting 260 seats. How bad is that? That is it. I'm just giving you an idea what is driving the changes they are making. They're trying to claw back many of the policies they implemented because they really want to make Canadians happy. And, you know, they're throwing so many things out there, changing things everywhere, hoping that Canadians will forgive them for all the mess that they've caused. But the truth is that these things are not reflecting in the polls. The polls still suggest that people are just fed up. And Trudeau is doing everything possible to try and get his party up there, and it's not looking good. So people watching me, international students, you just happen to be on the wrong side of things because politics is deciding or is shaping immigration here. And that is why you're caught up in this. They've spent so much money applying to schools, paying school fees, visa denials here and there because policies are changing. Right now, people, you could literally have the right documents. You could have the right documents, your bank statement, all your finances in place, and you could still be denied a visa. And the reasons sometimes are just so flat, you don't even know if your documents were even reviewed properly, right? It is what it is. It's just what time it is. It's just the time that we live in, that election around the corner is. Remember, this government is facing calls for an early election, meaning that they're calling for a vote of no confidence. They're calling for an early election so that they can kick them out as soon as possible. And they're doing everything possible to keep themselves in for another 1 year, say 11 more months, which is around October, 10, 11 more months, right? So it is what it is. The next 1 year is going to be very turbulent. It's going to be unpredictable for Canada, international students. Those of you who are looking to come in, just brace yourself for it, all right? Suspensions of programs, firing of, laying off of staff, and so many things happening. You will be affected. You need to just be mentally tough around this time because the changes are severe. The changes are pretty severe and they're drastic, all right? So just keep yourself updated and check the news. Check your colleges. Mostly in schools in Ontario are the ones to be affected the most. Remember, all international students coming into Canada, more than 50% are in Ontario. More than 50%. The biggest financial losses or changes will hit the Ontario schools. So if your school is in Ontario, keep an eye. If your school is in other provinces or smaller provinces like the Alberta, the Atlantic provinces and stuff like that, most likely the impact will not be so severe. But in Ontario, you will feel it a lot. The ruling party, the government in power, is so unpopular that they've had to pull all kinds of strings to adjust things, leaving many immigrants or international students in labor. As we speak right now, there are a lot of international students who don't know where to go next. In terms of what do they do when they graduate from school? How do they get this? How did they get this? How did they move? How did they move? People just don't know because of all these changes. And I predicted all of this. If you followed me for more than a year, you know I kept saying that this will happen. I just didn't see it coming so early. I thought it would be the next government that would be making all these changes, but it came earlier. All right, so let me know what you think about it. So many schools affected here. The Mills TV said, what of those of us coming in with visitor visa? Brace up for it. The changes have already been made regarding visitor visas. One of the key changes is that they are no longer issuing visitor visa to the expiry date of your passport. They've gone back to the Schengen style of visitors visa, where they give visitors visa based on the purpose of your coming and then how long your visit to Canada will be. So you'll likely be seeing visas like 6 months or maybe even less than 6 months. You could be seeing more and more of single entry visas. Single entry visa simply means you can only use the visa once to enter the country, and then when you leave, you will not be able to return with that same visa. You ought to apply for a new visa. Now, these changes are in effect, so there are many more single entry visas that will be coming in. The first time I actually came across a single entry visa was probably about 2 years ago, when a Nigerian follower of mine said he was given a 6-month single entry visa, and at least not for Canada. Normally, Canada gives visa based on, a little bit of a longer time. And this guy at the airport was still interrogated here in Canada. He was interrogated, port of entry questions. So he was so frustrated by the officers that he told them, you know what, I'm fed up. I want to go back to my country. Give me the chance to put me on the next plane. Let me go back to my country. I have a business back home. I'm just coming for a conference, and enough of this questioning, right? And eventually they let him in. They let him in because they realized that the guy was not standing up or putting up with any of their stuff there. So they decided to let him in. But that was the first time I saw. And then the next batch of visitors visas that I saw with single entry limits or durations of 6 months had to do with nurses, internationally trained nurses who were coming into the country to go through some nursing evaluation in some of the provinces, especially British Columbia. Some of you nurses who are internationally trained got the opportunity to come in and write some exams here and there as internationally trained nurses. And if you do well, you may have the opportunity to be considered to probably practice here in British Columbia, right? So some of you were given 6 months single entry visas as well. But those were very rare. In the last 2-3 years, they were giving more of visas to the expiry date of your passport. So if you had a 10-year passport, you were getting 10 years visa. If you had 8 years left on your expiry date for your visa, for your passport to expire, you were given 8 years, right? So a lot of you had that if you had your visitor visa. Now they have literally stopped that. Now they will be given. Obviously, because they've seen that the number of visitor visa they issued in the last few has backfired in different ways. Many people who came in didn't go back, or people violated the conditions of their stay. Many came in and sought asylum as well. Right now we have over 200 and something thousand cases alone, or what we call the inventory for asylum, sitting down, right, to be reviewed. So they are just trying to see how they can close all the areas where people are utilizing to kind of, probably extend their stay in Canada. A visitor's visa definitely will. I also think there will be a lot more refusals for visitors visa. You'll be refused visitors visa easily, even when your documents are intact. We are likely getting back to those pre-pandemic times where getting a visitor visa was a bit difficult. Getting a student visa was also a little bit difficult. So that is kind of where we are heading to. All right. So I hope I answered your question there. All right. All right. So let me see if there is another question there from Jerry Wusu Ajiman. I just joined. So what happens to the students who have their programs cancelled by the college when they arrive in January, since they have? All right. So I suggest that you stay up to date. I think I've already talked about that. Stay up to date. Make sure you are in touch with your school. Most schools will not just cancel your program without telling you. They won't leave you in a lurch. They would have sent you an email letting you know that this program will no longer be run. In fact, that was how I got to know the Atlantic provinces. There, some schools canceled some programs and they sent emails to the students who were affected. So the students reached out to me and then they said, Chuck, this is the situation. What do I do? I've already applied for my visa. My program has been canceled. So I had to suggest to them a few things to do, right? So that could be your situation. Make sure you are checking your mails. Now, it's likely you did not do your own application. It's likely you use an agent or somebody there out there. You know what you're doing. If that's the case, you better make sure you're in touch with your agent, because some agents, where they deal with plenty customers, agents with so many customers, they can't even keep up the passwords and email login. That agent will likely not be responding or letting you know that they've made some changes. Because if that agent tells you, maybe you might change your mind in paying him his money, and so you are likely also going to be screwed. So this is about time to be on your agent to see how best you can get access to that login, or to make sure that you're also getting those emails there. You know, I've talked about this in the past. These are times where you could I've seen so many of these cases, people who come to me with similar issues. This update has been sent to them, agent never told them. This has been sent to them, agent said he never saw it, the school sent it. It is what it is. So just make sure you're on top. All right? Okay, so Jerry, that is the answer to your question there, okay? Okay, let me pick this one from Damilola Olakunle. Damilola Olakunle is asking, please, is there any hope for the caregiver program to appear especially? Wow, guys, remember this is not a live video. So when people come in the future to insult me that my videos are live, some of you should be responding to say you are the ones who made the videos long. This was supposed to give you an update about suspension of programs and stuff like that, but people are turning it into all kinds once you give people the chance to ask questions, isn't it? So remember when the immigration minister hinted that they will be introducing a caregiver program for people, and it will go live from September this past September 2024 to somewhere in January 2025, right? There were high hopes. People were so excited. They were going to give about 15,000 slots for people to get permanent residency to come in. Some of you have been making moves since that time that the announcement came. You're getting certification here and there and stuff like that. Maybe I should do another video talking about that. But if I can just read my own meaning into it, given all the changes happening right now. By the way, if you are enjoying this video, make sure you are destroying the like button there so that this video can reach other people as well. This is my personal opinion, okay? Given all the changes happening right now, I just showed you, guys, look at it. There are 3 reasons why this government is unpopular, or probably more than 3 reasons. One of them is immigration. That people are complaining about the number of people that are brought in without proper planning at a time when the economy is not in the best shape. That's the first reason, immigration. So for this government to be bringing an additional 15,000 people, permanent residents, simply will mean that they are just ignoring the polls out there telling them that people are really worried about the way immigration is being handled. That's the first thing. Number 2, the economy in general. The economy has not been the greatest. Canada's economy, the GDP has been declining for the last couple of years. It is what it is. All right. If you compare it to the top G8 countries or G20, Canada's GDP has been going down for a while now, and it's not looking good. Job losses here and there. Jobs that are based in Canada are being shipped to countries like Philippines, Colombia, and what have you. Canadians are not having jobs. People have lost their jobs. So many things happening. All right. Youth, young folks who normally would have worked at Tim Hortons when they're in high school, many of these people are now unemployed. They have no jobs. Okay. Students, it used to be much easier for students to find a job. Right now, you have to really chase jobs for months to get a job as an international student if you are in school. So the economy is not the best. Now, interest rate has also gone up significantly. They just started cutting the interest rate. In the last 2 years, they increased interest rate by about how many times? More than 6-7 times. The cost of housing went up. Rental went up. So many things went up. Groceries, everything went up. In fact, things went up so much that this December, the Prime Minister is hoping to give a free tax break for people to go and do their groceries and buy their food at restaurants without having to pay tax, the GST component of the tax. By the way, people have expose that to say that, hey, it's not really anything new because GST is being taken off so many things already. You know what I mean? So that is it. These are some of the areas that people are feeling the pain here in Canada. All right. And then there was the issue of COVID. When COVID happened, truckers protested. If you heard about the truckers issue, and so many things happened here in Canada, the way the Liberal government handled that protest of truck drivers here, it didn't turn out well. And a lot of people have been not happy with them for a long time now. And people are just waiting to kind of make their decision by voting against this party, this government, for how they handle that issue. All right. So many things going down here. Okay, so I've just given you a snapshot of things that are determining how the mood of Canada is right now. And you are seeing massive cuts in immigration. Permanent resident numbers drop down. International student volume dropped down by over 35%. Right? Every area, visitors visa, they are making changes. In fact, they just announced one program, the suspension of one immigration program, which is a private refugee program, a private refugee sponsorship program. I probably will talk about that in another video. They just suspended that, right? There is an indication that they could even make more changes in the refugee program in the future. The minister has been hinting that some changes are coming, and you know when he talks, he does it. If you were to ask me, Choco, do you still think that the minister or the immigration of Canada will still roll out that 15,000 permanent residents for caregivers from home? Well, I'll probably say no. I don't see it coming. A couple of reasons why I don't see it coming. One, we have a huge backlog of people who don't have permanent residence right now. And most of them are international students or graduates. Some of them are in the system. Some of them are running out of status. We currently have 4.9 million people in the system who are temporary residents, and they are in shaky immigration status. Some of them are about to lose their status and stuff like that. So therefore, put yourself in the shoes of my thoughts right now, all right? If you were to be in Canada with 4.9 people in the system, most of them on resolved status, not permanent residents yet. Most of them international students, not with postgraduate or having postgraduate work permits that are about to expire. Would you be giving 15,000 permanent residents to people who are not yet in the country or maybe overseas? I want you to comment below and let me know whether you think this policy will happen. Now, even if it will happen, there is a chance. There is a chance. This is what even if they decide to follow through, there is a chance, or I suspect, they might focus on those who are already in Canada. Because we have hundreds and thousands of people, millions of people in the system already. So it's possible that they might narrow it down to those who are already here. You already see some of the changes, the way they used to bring in permanent residents through the Express Entry program from overseas. You can see the numbers have gone down, right? Now they are doing more domestic draws. More domestic draw, meaning people who are already in the country, Canada. So my intuition here is that that policy there may have to wait a bit, or even if they do, they may have to find a way to probably give it to those who are already here to take the burden off them a bit in terms of the volume of people who don't have papers. Right? That's what I think. And I know this feels like bad news. You didn't want me to hear it, but I've said it already. That's my opinion. This is what I just think. I'm not an immigration minister, so whatever I think doesn't matter. I just have my opinion to express, and I just say that. So those of you who are taking all kinds of caregiver courses, I know especially in Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, agents are cashing in big. They are giving all kind of caregiver certificate, fake certificate, and they're telling you Canada is going to Canada. My people, this is about time to shine your eyes. So before you go and lose millions of naira to an agent because he promised you in January he's taking you to Canada, if I've told you already, shine your eyes. Things are changing. If you're in Ghana, wait, Charlie, I hear say some people have set up some caregiver stuff for some African country where the agents they take collect. They collect. They say Canada, caregiver. I beg, shine your eyes, so shine your eyes, because right now where we did the immigration policies for Canada, it change faster than our weather update. Before the weather will even change, immigration has already changed again. Before we even finish, who knows, they will announce another thing that I'm not even aware of. All right, so just keep yourself updated and make sure you're following. That's what I think. Just don't let nobody rob you off in a way that you think you'll be stranded if things don't work for you. All right, that's what I think. Okay, all right. So okay. So that is the answer there. I was hoping to read another article. Hi Choco, please, do you think Passage will discontinue sponsor candidates who have got admission with your brand? Wishing to apply? Yeah, well, it depends on the programs. It depends. Like I said, schools in Canada will make changes. Certain areas. Now, if you look at the school that I just read the article or the news report on, the canceled program in certain areas, health and game animation, arts, business, and then some allied health sciences. All right. Just make sure you are in touch with your school. Make sure you are just keeping up with that. Make sure you are checking your school's website, reading the newsletters or public releases and stuff like that. And just say, I don't know which school is going to cut with program. I don't know. But I know a lot of schools here in Ontario will be affected. A lot of schools will be affected. That's what I think. Okay. Yeah. So let me just read another one from another school. Okay. Okay. So this one is from another school. This one is from another school, Georgian College. Look at it here. You see? Same thing. Georgian College faces job cuts, dwindling enrollment amid international student cap. Same thing. Okay? This was December 4. How many days ago? December 4. You see that? And look at it. Growing deficits, layoffs, and far fewer enrollment numbers are forcing colleges and universities across the province to make tough decisions. Okay? The federal government first announced a temporary cap, 35%, and a further reduction of 10%. So they first reduced the international student enrollment by 35%. Then in September, they reduced it again by another 10%. So 35 first and 10. That's 45%. Half of the international student volume there completely gone. And this is supposed to continue all the way till 2026. Okay? All right. Now, let's go on there. We've noticed about a 30% decline in enrollment already for this fall, said Kevin Weaver, Georgian College President and CEO. There's been a series of other announcements, including announcement related to postgraduate work permits in September. Ottawa announced new restrictions on work permit eligibility, restricting the number of programs that can gain access to postgraduate work permit. Georgian College said under the new criteria, it expects a further drop of about 2,500 full-time international students. The impact has been significant, with the college projecting $45 million deficit for the 2025-2026 year. Over 100 full-time positions have been impacted, including the layoffs of 23 employees to reflect the shortfall. The situation is similar at other institutions in Ontario. At Fanshawe College in London, the union representing workers at the school said it's been advised to expect a 47% reduction in international student enrollment for the winter term, which is January 2025. Sheridan College in the GTA has also announced a suspension of 40 programs and blah, blah, blah. All right. Program viability. We've not canceled any programs to date, but we've looked at some intakes that, based on the drop in enrollment, just weren't viable. Weaver said, we anticipate making further tough calls as we look ahead next fall. International students previously represented 50% of the total student population at the college. The split is now 60% domestic and 40% international. A large contingent of those students were enrolled in tourism and hospitality programming at the college, putting it under the microscope. Okay. Weaver said many of its programs in those sectors are heavily reliant on international students, meaning that it's likely somehow they may cut these areas in the future. What worries me is really the impact of the labor market, he added. We deliver 1.7 billion of economic impact, which includes our alumni. We are the feeder to the labor market in Central Ontario, and if we lose international students in some of these key programs, all right, so we can go on. Lakehead University has seen a drop of 15%. These are all there. We can go on. So, guys, this is it. So, this is how we got into this. I can go on and talk about it. This is it. These schools, right? You see these schools here. If you've been watching my old videos, I've talked about this. These schools are mostly just interested in making profit. Profit. It is what it is. Hiring more professors, creating new programs. Some of these programs are extremely, basically, some of these programs are just duplications and duplication. In other words, the same program, they change it a bit, create a new one, change it a bit, create a new one. Then they slap some hefty fees on top of it, bringing international students. Some of these international students will finish studying. Some of them are not getting jobs. And when they are not getting jobs, they are out there creating problems. And then these things will eventually get out there and people will know. The government will know students are suffering. I've talked about it in the past. Support for international students doesn't start when they arrive. It starts right from the beginning of their process. When these students are in need, how available are we? If they have immigration questions, how reliable is the immigration departments of some of these colleges in helping these students to fine-tune or find themselves on track with their immigration? Before you even apply for a visa, these schools are supposed to have an immigration department that will be out there providing services to you, answering questions here and there, holding webinars here, making sure that you understand your next journey, which is applying for your visa to come into the country. Then, when you get your visa, coming into the country, all kinds of support must be given to you by the school. Support, transition. What do you need when you come in? Where will you stay? Will you stay on campus? Will you stay off campus? If you're going to stay on campus, what is the price like? Is it competitive? Is it affordable compared to rent out the market rent? All the support. When the student comes in, it's not just about orientation. It's about giving them the support, because these students, right from the day they land into the country, most of them go through depression in many forms. They don't have no support. They have no support. Nobody to talk to, nobody to be out there for them. These people are just walking through with no support. No mentorship program to connect existing students with the new students. Many schools don't have this. Some schools do, some don't have it. Then what about career opportunities there? Aside from having a department where people can drop CV, that support, that holistic, because this is where a chunk of your student population is from. No support. Virtually no support. So students are coming in, they are trying to find a place to rent online, and then they get scammed. They end up being scammed. Oh my goodness. I was in Kitchener a couple of months ago, visiting somebody I've interviewed on this platform. And then to my surprise, when I went to the person's house, there was a Ghanaian lady in the house who's a new international student. So I talked to the lady and said, how long have you been? She said, a few weeks ago. And then she started telling me how she was scammed several thousands of dollars trying to find a place to rent. She went online looking for a place to rent. A scammer somewhere based in India managed to get her banking details, went into her account, wiped out money from her account, several thousands of dollars from her account. All in the name of trying to find a place to rent. All in the name of trying to find a place to rent. So stop, schools. Let me give the fire to them. It's been a long time since I gave fire. Let me give fire. Stop complaining about the money you are going to lose. And start looking at the real problem of supporting international students. How vibrant is the international students' office in helping these students to find places to sleep? Some of them are sleeping in hotels, blowing their first semester school fees in hotels and Airbnbs. It got to a point I had to stop doing what I was doing because I was drained. Hello, my brother. How are you? Fine. I know I didn't call you ahead of time. I just decided to put you on the line. I'm on a live video right now if you tune in on YouTube, wherever you find me there. Oh, okay. Now, you are new in the country, sir. What country are you from? Ghana. Please speak louder, okay? Yeah. What country are you from?
Ghana.
Good. How long have you been in Canada?
Roughly, I'm in my 4th month.
Your 4th month. All right. Yeah. Now, if you were to describe your transition from Ghana to Canada, the smoothness of it on a scale of 10, where 10 means excellent, where 1 means, oh, it's very poor, how will you rate your transition, accommodation, finding things, the transition? How will you rate it?
I will rate it 5.
5. Okay. You had a problem that when I met you, you told me about. You were scammed trying to find it. Can you briefly tell me the story? It's a quick one.
Oh, okay. So I think I was looking for accommodation in Ghana because per the school standard, you have to look for accommodation before you come to Canada. So I contacted my cousin to help me, who is in Nova Scotia. So I got someone who said there's an accommodation, but I should pay through email. You know, in Africa, we don't pay money through email.
Yeah.
So I was kind of confused. So I find out from my cousin, and he told me, oh, yeah, in Canada, that's how it is done. So I sent money to my cousin, and he paid to the person. So a day for me to leave Ghana, they sent me the house address. So I go to Toronto. I wasn't led by anyone. I had to find my own way into Niagara Falls. I got to the house.
The address?
The address they gave me. I rang the bell, and the woman came out. What do you want? And I told her, this is the address that I was given by the person I rented from. It was like, no, this house has been used a lot for scamming people. So I should leave the premises or she will call the police on me for trespassing. This was around 9 p.m.
9 p.m. You are new. You had your luggages with you, 9 p.m.
My luggages with me. I left Ghana on Thursday, 11 p.m. So actually, it's like I've not had any sleep. And the funny aspect of it is when I go to Toronto Airport, you know, this, after everything, when I came out, I met this mobile company who gave me a SIM. And in my mind, I didn't perceive that I've been scammed. So I was like, okay, when I get to my room, then I will get time, swap the SIM from Ghana one to the Canadian one. Because I didn't do that, and when the woman told me to leave her presence, otherwise she'll call the police. I can't call anyone. I can't book a ride. So it was this old man, and the neighborhood is very quiet. You know how Canada is.
Yeah.
You didn't see people around.
Yeah.
So I just had to stand in the cold for like 20 minutes before I saw an old man come out. I think he was smoking. So I approached him and I asked him, what is the nearest place that I can get Wi-Fi? And he told me, Tim Hortons, that's 2 kilometers down the road. So I had to drag my bags and get to Tim Hortons around 10:40 that way, use their Wi-Fi, book for Uber, and look for the nearest hotel. And I choose a hotel around Niagara Falls because that was where it was close to my school. And not knowing that place is a tourist area, so the hotels around those areas are very expensive. That night I had to pay $140. I slept there for 2 days. Then I had to reach out to Ghanaians who I knew they were in other provinces, and they were trying to reach out to you so that you can help me get an accommodation. But it looks like they found it difficult to get to you then. I also did my own search on Facebook Marketplace. And
okay,
I
brother.
actually got a place to stay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I just wanted to share this part of the transition trouble there. Thank you so much for picking my call. I really appreciate it. Talk to you soon, okay?
Welcome.
All right. Now, this is a married man with kids. Left his home country, several thousands of dollars, stripped school's bank account. Where is the support? Where is the support? Aren't you supposed to have a department that will be in touch with these international students, making sure that you are leveraging, connecting with landlords or accommodate, whatever it is? You're not doing it. Guys, remember, before all these changes were made, the Minister of Immigration threw a challenge to the provinces to put their house in order. That if you don't get this thing under control, we're going to take over. I did a video on it. The minister actually told them to get things in order. The accommodation challenges, students not getting the support, do a lot. It is. Nobody did anything. Now, you're complaining that we are losing money. You complain that you're losing millions of dollars. You never took care of it. It is what it is. So this is just one person. Do you know how many international students get stranded? When I was coming into Canada, support, I didn't get it too. I had to, those time, we didn't even have social media the way we have now, where you can go and find videos here and there. Man, I had to go on Google and be typing African students, Ghanaian students in Canada, and just be searching through Google. No support. I remember sending emails over and over again. Can you connect me to an existing international student from a country so that I can... Sometimes you don't even get a response. And then these students come in, and in the first few weeks, months, so rough. Some of them, my goodness. There is a Ghanaian man we had living with us for 1 whole year. We had to give up my daughter Joanna's room to him My daughter was just a baby at that time. Less than how many months? 5 months, 4 months old baby. Her room, we had to take her out of that room to give the room to an international student for 1 whole year without collecting rent. Because this international student came in and was stranded like that. Ended up having no place to stay. Cold Canada, winter time. Spent all his money on hotels. Hotels. Imagine staying in a hotel for how many days? Eventually, he was not even able to pay his rent, his school fees, the balance, because he has spent all the money. This is what brought us this to where we are. The schools have been negligent for a long time. They are just interested in collecting a moolah. That's what I'm saying. So nobody should feel sorry for them that they are going through it. Meanwhile, they here, they have ignored some of us. Some of the schools around here that I have, my videos have brought traffic to them. Crazy traffic. They don't even have the common sense to reach out and say, thank you, young man. And I know they will all watch this at some point. You feeling the heat now? Later in the future, when they know how to look for us, they will come and look for us. The number of international students we've helped, nobody even looks for us to say, thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you do. You see it? All you care about is the millions of dollars. New programs here and there. No real support. Programs that are not viable enough to even give these students a head start. So who should be feeling sorry for you for losing millions or hundreds of millions of dollars today? Do you see it? Talk to international students out there and you find that the hassle is real. The hassle is real. The hassle is real. Not everybody is bold enough to talk about this publicly. I didn't intend to talk about this here, but I'm just letting you know how we got here. The signs have been there for a long time. You see? You don't see me promoting schools just like that anymore, isn't it? For some of these schools, they don't just value what we even do for them. Yeah. Those traffic that we give them, traffic that we used to give them like that, they don't even have the courtesy to look for you and say thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to Canada is not easy. It's tough, and the times are even tougher now. Being a successful international student goes beyond just paying school fees. A lot goes into it. There are many of the international students out here walking around with mental problems, depressions, different stages of depression. Nobody there for them when they need you. When they need you. Nobody there for them. All right, if you did enjoy this video, make sure you smash the like button. This is a reality video. I say things just as they are. I don't mince words. I say them as they are. Things are changing fast in Canada, and they will continue to change. Brace up for it. If you're about to come to Canada, brace up for it. Start building your network. Utilize your social media well to build the right network. Build the right network. All right? Yeah. Someone like me, I just do what I can and I stop because I have been drained. There are times where I will have sleepless night, just sleepless night, helping people. Sleepless night, I'm not even able to sleep. And then you look out there and then, you know, it's like, these schools, do they really care? Some of them I send emails telling them, this is what I'm doing for your students. Are you guys even seeing it? They don't even have the courtesy to even respond to you. They won't even respond to you. Yet you want thousands of international students to come in so you can screw them up? Thousands and thousands to come in so you can screw them. 60% of our international students. What support are you giving them? What support are you giving them? Most of them are there right now. They just need a feedback on the CIPC to know whether the course they are studying is leading to a postgraduate work permit. Some of you schools, advisors have decided not to respond to them. Do you know how many international students have reached out to me? I've sent messages to my course advisor, no response. Because all of you are careful. You don't want to commit yourself. You don't want to go and use your official email or whatever to say something to an international student so that in the future when he graduates and doesn't get his PGWP, you'll be held responsible for misleading them. Isn't it? You see the problem that we find ourselves today? See the problem we find ourselves today? Now we call some greedy schools out there. All right. God bless you and thanks for watching. So that is it from Georgian College as well. And I could go on and read so many other articles there. Just remember, the changes are real and they will continue coming. All right. Keep yourself safe. I'll see you on the other side. Hit the like button. share this video with your friends. And just remember, coming to Canada is a lot of work, and you may have to do a lot of it because most of the time you'll be left alone. If you're coming in January, remember, winter has started and it's not easy in Canada. You need to prepare well. You need to be well connected to the right people. You need to make sure you are reaching out with humility. With humility. With humility. That's a key word. If in winter time like this, if you come here and you give somebody attitude, nobody will even mind you. It doesn't matter whether you're a rich man back or you better drop your ego and know how to talk to people here when you're reaching out for help. All right? Because this place can be extremely difficult winter times, especially. It can be. All right? No mercy for those. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the other side. Bye-bye.